So I just got a Switch 2. So naturally, I went into the market for cases. However, I didn't just want any case. I had 4 requirements that needed to be met before I committed to a decision. Those requirements in just a moment, but in my research, I think I found the absolute best case on the market. The case to end all other cases. I am of course talking about the JSAUX split protective case, or as seen in the box here, the shock absorbent storage case. So here are my requirements. Number 1, the grips had to detach with the Joy-Cons rather than just being one solid piece. 2, the entire Switch had to be dockable as is. No additional attachments, no requirements to take things on and off just to make it fit. I just wanted an easy slide in and slide out solution. Number 3, there can't be any limitations to the functionality native to the Switch. All ports must be accessible, no fan blockages, and things like the stand must still be usable. And lastly, but most importantly to me, it must be affordable. When researching under these parameters, 3 cases typically came to the top, but 2 of them often fell flat. You had the Mamba case, but that blocks the kickstand and does not have the grips that come off with the Joy-Cons, so that's instantly a no. You then have the D-brand Kill Switch, however this requires a dock for your dock because the case makes it undockable. The grips do remove with the Joy-Con, however if you weren't aware, their first iteration to the market with the Kill Switch actually made the Joy-Cons detach a little too easy, causing some people to drop their Switch and made the case live up to its name a little too well. However, with the replacements, you are looking at incredibly long shipping times, and depending on what you actually get, it's over 100 Australian dollars just for a certain kit. So the combination of slow postage and extra dock and being very expensive put it in the no basket for me again. And the last case, of course, was the JSAUX split protective case. Now, a quick transparency before I do dive in. JSAUX did send me this case for free after I reached out to them first during my research into over 20 Switch 2 cases. I plan on covering a lot more Switch 2 content on the channel, both games and accessories, so I figured if this case works for me, some of you may find value in that too, which is why I'm presenting you this video. So I've got pretty big hands. Wow, Pixel, you're so big and manly. And with these big hands comes big problems. One of the worst feelings controllers I've ever felt in my life in my hand were the original Joy-Cons. And here's why. Look at this. They are barely bigger than my palm. So playing undocked was a nightmare, and having some kind of grip or using the Pro Controller was an absolute must. The Joy-Cons are significantly bigger on the Switch 2, but they share the exact same issue as the Switch 1. The ergonomic design is horrendous. Aside from these triggers, the rest of the controller is just flat. There's more controller to occupy my palm, yes, but after an hour or so, the hand cramps just creep back in. In comes the split case. The separated grips instantly gave me a much more comfortable grip on my Switch 2, almost reminiscent of me actually holding a Switch 1 Pro controller. It now fills in so much real estate in my hand to where I can play undocked for hours without any pain or discomfort. This feels super nice in my hands, which when buying a case with grips is probably up there as one of the most important priorities. It not only feels natural and feels the contours on my hand, reducing any overreach or weird alignments, but the hand grips also have this really fine textured finish, providing you with extra grip, all for my sweaty handed brothers out there. So why did I want to take the Joy-Cons off with this case still being attached? Well, for travel purposes. If I were to ever take this on an overseas trip or just anywhere that has a tray table, I could detach the Joy-Cons and have them in my lap while experiencing the comfort and ergonomics that the grips provide. I'm heading overseas at the end of this month and I have several 6 to 13 hour flights lined up, so this will be perfect. So how much extra cake do these grips give the Joy-Cons? Well, here's a size comparison, and as you can see, they become thick. I can't speak to how comfortable this will be in your hands, let's say if you have tiny little baby hands, but my partner has fairly small hands and even she finds these grips to be incredibly comfortable too, much more than just having no grips at all. Now, added thickness to the Joy-Cons are great, but I did say that this still needs to be dockable in order to pass my test, so here's proof of that. It is a more snug fit, obviously, given that there's something else wrapped around your Switch, but with the detachable grips, functional stand, and now dockable console, you have zero compromises with this thing on. You get all the options and all the conveniences of the Switch as intended, with the added protection of a fantastic case. This now means you can play when you want, how you want, and in any orientation with zero compromise. Now, taking a look to the craftsmanship of the case itself, everything is super high quality. It's all perfectly cut, aligned holes. Every port is centered and accessible. It really communicates to a high quality and an assurance that your Switch is in good hands when sitting inside this case. Now, this case also comes with a front plate too, which is quite interesting in and of itself. This case easily goes onto the front. It is a little bit difficult to get off at some times, but once you learn how to do it, it's quite easy. But I've had no issues with this case, and there's also a little bit of an extra surprise in here as well. Before we get to that surprise, I just want to let you know that when this plate is on, the console has an entire coverage of protection aside from this one little hole cut out here. This exposes the charging port. This means that when your Switch 2 is being protected and being kept in a bag, let's say, you can still plug it in to a power bank so it can be both protected and charged while you're wandering the world touching grass. Because we all know you do that, right? Oh, fuck. Now, pulling off is quite easy as well. I just lift the bottom tab up, you sort of wriggle the front like that, and then it all comes off. Now, onto that surprise. Tucked away inside the front plate are these 10 cutouts for your physical games. Remember physical games? Oh, let's not let those die, please. As to be expected, these conveniently house both your Switch 2 and Switch 1 games, and once placed into their respective holders, they do not come out unless a significant amount of force is applied. You really have to get your finger in there and pop that out in order for that to come out, which means that you'll never have a loose game when using this front protective case. So now you'll be able to walk around with 10 physical games plus any digital games you have installed on your device, all enclosed in this one case, which means that when you take this out to game on the go, you are always going to be spoiled for choice. There is sufficient space in the front plate to ensure that when applied, no contact is made with the sticks and that the games do not touch the screen, so scratching the screen or forcing the sticks in any way, contributing to drift issues, will not be an issue. Now, I know I shouldn't have to explain this, but it's the internet. Your Switch will not be dockable when this front faceplate is on. Obvious to most, but I just want to clear that up. Now, do be aware that this case is an incredibly tight fit regarding the hand grips. JSAUX do have a video up regarding installation methods to show you how to correctly install the case. Some comments say that this case or the hand grips scratch their Switch, and then I see how they installed it and I see that they did it completely wrong. So if you do get this, go to their website or just read how to install the case properly. It's so simple and I have no damage caused to my Joy-Cons or Switch at all. It even comes with an installation guide and these blue stickers that tell you to go to the website. So there is no excuse if you damage your own Switch. Even when this Switch is applied, I can barely move any part of the actual case itself. It's all really fixed on there quite well and nothing really has any give. So you know you're gonna have great protection when utilizing this case. My only gripe with this is that if you get your fingernail in, this is such a weird use case. I don't think anyone's gonna be doing this, but if you get your fingernail in here, you can move this plastic down. And look, any bit of adhesive stuck along here will quickly solve that. So I'm not taking points off for that. It's just something that I'm raising so you can be aware of. I cannot hold this and wave it around, causing this controller to pop off like the original D-brand kill switch. The only way to pull these off is with insane force or by using the switch function at the end. It's a protective case that easily slides into the dock. It provides incredibly comfortable grips that will extend your gaming sessions and avoid those cramps, and you can carry 10 physical games with you on the go, meaning you will always have something worth playing. Once its faceplate is installed, your Switch is completely enclosed, meaning you can travel with this absolutely worry-free. The JSAUX split case did not only meet my requirements I raised at the start of the video, but it also exceeded all of my expectations. I'm going to be very hard pressed to find anything that covers this much ground at this price to warrant me taking this off my Switch. Thank you again to JSAUX for sending me out this case, and I really hope that you guys pick this up for yours. This is absolute value for money and you should not miss out.